Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Witcher 3. This is Skellige. Yes, you know what we're going to be doing in this episode, guys. We're going to be sailing through the seas, and we're going to be collecting some of these places of interest. Yes, a lot of these still to go. We probably won't be able to get them done all in one episode, but hoping within 2 episodes or so. I won't do these back to back, by the way. I'll just do one now and then maybe another one 10 episodes from now, or maybe something like that. Yeah, I know not everyone wants to listen to just off-topic discussions, so that's why I'm just spacing these out. So yes, this mini-series inside this series is going to be called Sailing the Seas, where I just sail through the seas and I talk about just random off-topic things while we traverse the oceans and collect these places of interest. So I already got my boat. I sailed it here by myself before the episode. So first things first, we're going to go into our options, and we are going to turn our inventory capacity to maximum. I'll be changing it back to 170 after this episode. This is just, so it's more convenient to collect all of these places of interest without having to go back to a merchant to sell off everything. And just like last time as well, we're going to go into the standard options, if I can. No? Okay, there we go. And go into gameplay, and also reduce my difficulty down to very easy, just so that we don't take a ton of damage from sirens and such. I really, really hate sirens. And one last thing I should note is that I still haven't figured out all the intricacies of this weird boat patch. It happened a long time ago. It seems like, so the problem I've been having, right, is in the last few episodes, right now I'm holding the stop button and it's not stopping. I'm literally holding it as much as I can. But I feel like if you just steer a little bit while you're holding the stop button, it actually slows down a bit faster. I don't know. So I'm not going to keep on bringing up these bad boat controls. I'm sorry for using that term, but it's actually bad boat controls. Or maybe I'm just not figuring out how it works. In that case, it's still kind of not great because it's not that intuitive. But in any case, if you see me just sailing past a place of interest and I'm not stopping, and I'm just not turning the right way, or I'm not accelerating, or I'm not turning, yeah, I'm not going to complain about that anymore. I'm just going to live with it, and that's what it is. So don't scream at me saying why aren't you stopping here, why aren't you turning here? Well, it's because I can't. Alright, anyways guys, let's go on to collecting some of these now. We are going to have to get all of these eventually. For one thing, it's for the sake of completion, and the other is it's a really good source of money. Collecting all these things and selling off gemstones and all that stuff. Gemstones, equipment, and just random crafting materials. Yeah, it's a pretty good source of money. So it's worthwhile to do this. Now, I have considered doing this entire series just kind of off screen because really there's not much happening. Unfortunately, combat underwater and on the water itself, inside the boat, is very boring. There really isn't much. It would be very interesting for The Witcher 3 to kind of have a mechanic where you can fight different types of monsters underwater. I don't know, different types of killer fish, sharks, and not just have the monsters on the water exclusive to being sirens and drowners. That would have been very interesting, but the land combat is good enough that we don't really need a whole lot of water combat. So yeah, let's just go down these one by one, and we will just spend some time doing this episode. So I was going to talk a little bit about just the games I am playing right now. Last time, I believe it was episode 109, I talked a little bit about the games of my childhood, how I used to play a lot of Contra and I think Street Fighter, a little bit of Pac-Man. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys lived through that era of gaming where it was literally just 2D 8-bit games that you launch from Microsoft DOS, and then you have to launch, you have to do stuff man, I don't remember the DOS controls, but at one point when I was a little kid, I used to be really proficient because they taught it to us in computer class in school. how to navigate your way through Microsoft DOS. That was the thing. Nowadays, obviously, if you take any kind of tech courses or business courses, they'll probably teach you how to type. That's a very important thing. And then they'll probably teach you how to navigate through Windows, or depending on your environment, maybe even a Mac. I never really understood how to use a Mac. My experience with Apple products goes as far as my iPhone. That's basically it. I've never owned a Mac. I've never owned a MacBook or used any kind of other operating systems made by Apple. For me, for most of my life, it's been about Microsoft. So I've gone through a lot of them. My earliest experiences was obviously with DOS. Oh, nice. Flawless Amethyst. So with DOS, and then eventually we upgraded to Windows 95 and then to 98. When I was in Germany, we had, I believe it was Windows NT. That was in the early 2000s. And then Windows 2000 at one point. Yeah, we were not like really ahead of the time, or just with the times with computer technology. One of my friends, I believe, still had Windows CE. That was a really old one. This was in the early 2000s. And then we upgraded eventually to, so this 2000 XP Vista. Yeah, we used Vista for a while when I got my very first laptop. That was when I just started post-secondary school. Owning your own computer, owning your own laptop was a good feeling. Because my family was never really like super rich or anything, so we didn't have access to too many computers. And oh my god, sirens, please stop. Damn, that was pretty rough. Yeah. And then we eventually, obviously, everyone upgraded to Windows 7 because it was the superior OS to Vista. Windows 8, not a lot of people used, because when we first upgraded to Windows 8, this was probably in the early 2010s. It was just a terrible operating system. It was like designed for tablet use. And then people with their computers and their people who were used to Windows 7 were just like, what is this operating system? It's so bizarre. You know, the start menu expanded to take up the entire screen. It was just like, this is clearly designed for a tablet. Why are you giving this to us on our desktop computers? Yeah, and then Windows 8.1 quickly fixed that within a couple of weeks, and it was all good. In fact, the computer I'm using right now had Windows 8.1 installed on it when I first purchased it. And then, obviously, within a week after that, Windows 10 came out. I'm not really sure why Microsoft skipped 9. I'm sure there's a very valid reason. But we never used Windows 9 as far as it was never for consumer use as far as I know. And then Windows 10 is currently what we're using in 2019 still. It's been a couple of years, and Microsoft hasn't really like pushed out a major operating system, as far as I know at least. They're not like Apple and their phones, in that there's literally a new phone every single year, or maybe sometimes every single 6 months. You just can't keep up with the technology. Sometimes I feel really bad for the real loyal Apple fans. You know, it's like, we have to own the newest, prettiest, most cutting edge everything. Yeah, good luck with that, because you'll be spending so much time on just like useless tech. Okay, I want to be careful with my usage of words here. Maybe useless is not the best word to use, but honestly, who can tell the difference between an iPhone 10 and iPhone 11, right? Besides the huge cameras, I believe, that was on the 11. Anyways, I don't want to talk about any of that anymore. We're talking about games. So, yeah, I am actually playing several games right now, and I've just finished within the past couple of months several other games, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a really, really good time to be playing video games right now. One of the games I just kind of finished playing, now I know this is a game that was released last year in 2018, but I just finished playing it, is Detroit Become Human. That is a Quantic Dream game. If you've played the likes of Indigo Prophecy, or I think that game was also called Fahrenheit. Heavy Rain, that was a big title from Quantic Dream, and Beyond Two Souls, which came out like 6 years ago? Yeah, 7 years ago. But the game that they just released last year, Detroit Become Human, where they kind of emphasize player choice. and how your choices really do matter in the game. Now, a lot of games market themselves to be like that, and why am I taking so much damage? What? Oh my god, this is not good. This is not good. Sorry, just give me a second here, guys. I don't want to die. Get up. Okay, good. I thought I had difficulty reduced. Maybe I need to put on my bear school set. Oh, jeez. That's not good. Okay. Let's just consume some stuff. We'll save the game, just in case I die. I can't save my game right now. Probably because of the drowners. Yeah, I thought by setting the game down to easy, I wouldn't be taking this much damage, but apparently I still do. Wow, that hurts me a little bit. It hurts me a lot, actually. So yes, in this game, Detroit, your choices actually do matter so much. Every little decision you make has some kind of consequence later on in the chapter or just cross chapter, and there are so many different like cross chapter consequences that you can experience from the choices you make. It's really good as far as just like a kind of create your own adventure. You know, your choices matter, that kind of game. Yeah, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, of that type. Can I kill some of these sirens? So yeah, that was a really, really fun experience, and I gotta say I loved every single second of playing that game. The games I'm currently playing, like right at this moment, that I'm you know, just going through right now this month. I recently purchased a PlayStation. No, sorry, not PlayStation. Thinking. Well, yes, I did purchase something for PlayStation, but that's not what I wanted to say. I purchased a Nintendo Switch. So yeah, that console's been out for a couple of years, and over the years it has gained very significant popularity because of the different types of games that's being offered. Right? They have. Nowadays, you have all of these developers and publishers rushing to push out their older games on the Nintendo Switch because they know how popular this console is and how much people really love it. Not because it's super high fidelity or anything, but because it's well, first of all, it's both a handheld and a home console, which gives it kind of an edge compared to other consoles. And you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to actually switch my boat because it is very damaged right now. We'll go here. This place of interest at this harbor. This gives me a couple of boats to use. So at first with Nintendo Switch, because I'm a very big Pokemon fan, I was going to purchase a Pokemon game. But then there is this whole like controversy, right, with the Pokemon games, where well, first of all, they cut out like 48% of all the Pokemon that used to exist. So instead of having, you know, 809 Pokemon, which is what we had before Generation 8, there are only like 320 of them, plus like 80 or somewhat new ones. And then I was like, is this game really worth my $80 to purchase right now? Maybe I'll just buy it used at some other place and save 20 or so bucks purchasing it, because it has. Well, that is not the main reason I didn't want to purchase this game, but it was one of the reasons that kind of pushed me away. Like, we only have half of all the Pokemon, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll wait. The other reasons being, I didn't really feel like paying subscription fees in order to play online with the Nintendo Switch. And with Pokemon, like trading is a big thing, online battling is a big thing. It felt necessary to do that. And then plus there's this other subscription called Pokemon Home, where you have to use this feature to bring in your previous Pokemon from older games, and that has another subscription fee. It's just like with all these subscriptions, you know, and then I'm paying for Netflix, I'm paying for PlayStation Now. It's kind of just piling up, right? So I just thought, well, maybe I'll wait a little while. Maybe save a couple of bucks on buying the game itself, buying it used, and that's what I'm doing. I was going to get it at launch for sure, but then all of these little things, they just pushed me away from it, and then I just didn't get it. Instead, what I got with my Nintendo Switch was Fire Emblem Three Houses. And I know that this game has been receiving really good reception because of just how innovative it is for a Fire Emblem game. and how well it plays, and the characters are really good. And I can see that. I'm about 8 hours or so into the game, not very far. I've gone through maybe like 3 battles, and that's it, because I've really been taking my time with it. And yeah, I'm really feeling the nice flow. One of my favorite games of all time is the Persona franchise, Persona 5 in particular being just an outstanding game, right? Fire Emblem Three Houses kind of has that feel to it because the game is kind of half combat, half social, unlike the previous Fire Emblem games. Now, I've only played one other Fire Emblem game before this, and this was a very long time ago. In fact, this was a Fire Emblem game for the Game Boy Advance that was released probably, I'd say, sometime in the early 2000s. In North America, it was just marketed to be called Fire Emblem, but I believe it's the 7th entry in the franchise, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's called Fire Emblem 7 in Japan. So yeah, I played that one. I didn't even finish it. I got to like chapter, I want to say like 26 or 27, so very close to the end. But I didn't end up finishing it. It was too hard for me. Yeah, that's basically it. And I also played a little bit. I used to own a Game Boy Advance. I still do. I don't know if it still works. It's like stashed away in the basement somewhere. So I also played a little bit of Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, which was the next entry in the series. That one I didn't get very far. I probably only got to chapter 15 or so. Again, it was a little too hard and unforgiving for me because if you don't know, the thing with Fire Emblem, their gimmick, so to say, is that when one of your characters dies, they die forever. You know, they don't come back at the end of the stage, and that concept just made the kid in me just cry inside. You know, like I have to keep everyone alive. That is so hard. It got much better with the more recent Fire Emblem games. Now, one of my friends is a huge Fire Emblem fan, and he tells me about this. So for the 3DS, for example, there's one called Awakening. There's one called Fates and Conquest, I think. But I think Fates and Conquest are like basically the same game. I don't really understand the intricacies. But in those games, they are much more forgiving in that at the very beginning, you can choose a casual or a classic mode. Where the classic mode is the same thing it has been with all the other games, where character dies, they're gone forever. With casual, you know, if they die, they only die for that map, and then they come back at the end of the stage. I find that much better. With Three Houses in particular, they also had that option, but I still went with the classic route, and I'm glad I did, because there's this mechanic in the game called oh shoot. I just started the part where that became a thing. Divine something, where you can press a button to basically turn back time. So if one of your characters just happens to die, they're like, oh, dude, I don't want to restart the stage. You can just press this button and you can turn back time. Yeah. You get 3 uses of it per match, which is really cool. It gives you 3 chances to make any mistakes. And then after that, well, if you're still making mistakes, then yeah, you got to start the stage over. If you don't want to permanently lose one of your characters. As far as I know, I don't think a single soul on this planet would want to continue playing one of these games after one of their characters dies. I don't know, that just feels so heartless. So, yeah, boat controls, you know, this is why I don't know why that happened. I didn't even press circle. Garrett just decided to get out. Yeah, it's really fun so far. I really like the social aspect of it because, again, I'm a huge Persona fan. I love the combat aspect of it because I also mentioned in one of my previous episodes that I'm a huge fan of the Disgaea franchise, Disgaea 5 in particular being the most polished and best Disgaea game in my opinion. Just plays so well. And obviously the Disgaea games are also strategy RPGs. Just like Fire Emblem, they play very, very differently, now granted, but they're in the same genre, and I can appreciate a really good strategic challenge in these games. With Fire Emblem, it's much less forgiving, obviously, because you can't really have any of your characters die. With this guy, it's more about the flashy moves and the different abilities that you can use to, you know, outdo your enemies. But yeah, they do. These two games are in the same genre of games. So yeah, that's been really fun. I'm also at this right now playing God of War. So that is the PS4 game that was released as an exclusive in 2018. I didn't play when it first came out because I was like playing other games. Now that it's available on PlayStation Now, I can kind of just play without actually purchasing the game. Yeah, it's probably take me, I don't know, with these kind of action adventure games. But with God of War, it's a bit more open worldish than other action adventures. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. After playing about 10 hours of it, yeah, it's feeling really good. The gameplay is super polished. I love the characters. Kratos and Atreus make a really good pair. And a lot of weapon and equipment customization. I really love that. Different moves that you can execute in combat. I can see how it won like Game of the Year multiple times. Because yeah, it's just a very, very polished game and a lot of things to do. So that's a really fun game. Currently playing it, but by the time I publish this video, it'll probably have I would probably have finished it already. Geralt, would you please stop doing that? So I don't think you can actually spoil it for me. Go ahead and provide any spoilers you want. I don't care. Let's see, what else? Yes, I am also currently playing a Monster Hunter World. My very first Monster Hunter game. I have briefly dabbled in it way in the past. I don't even know at what point, because Monster Hunter franchise is pretty old. It's like, what, 15 years old? But this is my first like serious Monster Hunter game. And yeah, very much enjoying it. It is a multiplayer game, so to say. It doesn't have to be, but it kind of is. So if any of you guys are playing it, let me know, and we can maybe play it together sometime. The problem I have with Monster Hunter World, now it's not really even a problem. Oh my god, if the siren does that, my boat's dead. My boat's dead, I think. No? Yes? Oh. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of wish I didn't start this like in the middle of the night, because it's very difficult to see. Let's turn on Witcher vision for this one. Okay. Yeah, so the biggest problem I have with Monster Hunter World, and the reason I say it's not a huge problem, is the grind at endgame. You know, you're constantly just trying to fight the strongest things in the game in order to get these things called decorations that provide you with different stats and abilities. Decorations are a major part of how you want to build your character in Monster Hunter World, and to kind of have a wall where you have to like farm these things. They have a chance of dropping these things called phase stones, and then phase stones come in different kind of different qualities. The rarest ones obviously providing you with the best kind of decorations, and most of the time you'll just be getting like really crap ones. And even if you get a really rare stone, it's not guaranteed that you get the decoration you want, right? So it's like layers and layers of RNG that you have to get through just so that you can build your character the right way at endgame. Now granted, you can probably offset some of the challenge of the game of, you know, not having a great build by simply just being better at the game. It's kind of like that with a lot of action-y type games. But with me, with being kind of an intermediate, not even that great of a player, it really bothers me that I have to go through like so much RNG and so much just rolling the dice after you killed an enemy just to have a chance of getting what you want. That will significantly increase your fighting capability. You know, that's the one big problem I have with it. Otherwise, it plays really nicely. I love all the monster designs. I like all the weapons. Now granted, I've only played maybe 3 of the weapons seriously. To those of you who actually play the game, I play the longsword, the hammer, and the charge blade. Charge blade being my favorite one because just love how much impact there is with the super attack, the super amped elemental discharge. Yeah, I briefly checked out the bow and the two different types of bow guns, but ranged combat is just not for me, even though I find bow extremely overpowered in the fact that it can hit flying enemies all the time because you're ranged, and the damage they dished out is just ridiculous. Still, the playstyle doesn't suit me, so as powerful as it is, I don't think I'll be using it. Currently in that game, I'm just trying to kind of do all the quests. I think that's important. I want to unlock all the quests and just do them. Obviously participating in event missions, that's the thing. I don't like how some of the best equipment in the game is locked behind event missions. Which just means you have to constantly farm the events when they come out. Otherwise you miss your opportunity and you have to wait until the next time it shows up. So yeah, that's a little bothersome. But I guess you just have to, like, when the events come out, you just have to really take advantage of them. And they're hard too. They're very hard. In Monster Hunter World, there's this concept of tempered monsters, where tempered monsters are much stronger than regulars. And then you have a concept called arch-tempered monsters, where they're even stronger than the regular monsters. They don't just do more damage. Well, yes, they do more damage, but they're faster, they have new moves, they have more HP. It's like all around just much more difficult. I've only been playing the game for about 3 weeks, so I'm not like really that good at these arch-tempered ones. I've defeated some of them, but man, arch-tempered Nergiganti, God save me, I can't do it. I can't even get him down to half his health, I don't think. It's ridiculous. Before I just die 3 times and the mission is over. So yeah, I'm working at it, working to get a little better at the game. I'm liking the way the game plays, and it always feels fresh. Played it for quite a while now, but the combat still feels fresh, and as long as you're always learning something and always upgrading part of your equipment, either it's through the rare chances to get decorations or just farming upgrades so you can make your armor stronger, you can get different armor sets. Yeah, the game feels great, and whenever it gets dull for me, and it has once, that's where I kind of made my switch from being a hammer main to a charge blade main. Yeah, switching weapons really refreshes your interest in the game, I think, because each weapon plays so differently from the next. No two weapons in the game are just really similar. That, with the exception of obviously light bowgun and heavy bowgun, those two kind of play similarly, but the play styles you have to execute are still different enough that I think it's still interesting. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. Pretty good game. Yeah, that's about it. That's all the games I'm playing currently. Everything else is either I'm just not too focused on playing them, or I tried them but I didn't really love them. For example, Skyrim is basically the only Elder Scrolls game that I have played to its completion. I've played Morrowind as a kid. I've never really touched Oblivion, but yeah, Skyrim is the only game I've actually been serious about when it comes to an Elder Scrolls game. But recently I just purchased Oblivion because I just wanted to play a different Elder Scrolls game. I played it for about 2 hours, 3 hours. I just couldn't get into it. I just feel like Oblivion, it plays very, very similarly to Skyrim, but some of the stuff, especially the character faces, some of the armors, and certain gameplay features, it just feel a little dated. Now, of course, it's a game that's 10 years old at this point, so I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I'll have the time to get into it in the future, but I've already watched and read story summaries of Oblivion, so I know exactly what happens. I don't know if I really want to get into a game that where I already know everything that's about to happen, Yeah, so that's that. Earlier this year, I finished playing one of probably the best PS4 games in my opinion, and it was like one of the first PS4 games to come out as well. It came out very early in this kind of era, and that's Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. So good. I may have talked about it at some point, just like in this series, but man, Hideo Kojima did a really good job at making a game that just plays so smoothly. The gameplay is just crazy good. The stealth is amazing. The gunplay is amazing. I love the buddy system where you can kind of have a buddy in one of the missions. My personal favorite is obviously the dog, Dee Dee. Although what was the other ones? The Walker and Quiet, they're okay too. I don't really love Quiet that much as a buddy. She's fine as a character, I suppose. She's kind of a main character in the game as a matter of fact. But the whole sniping thing, I don't really love that so much. And plus, she's always like really far away from you, so you don't get to see her a whole bunch. Whereas with the D Walker and the D Dog, they're constantly at your side, and it just feels like you have an actual companion. So yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid 5. Am I gonna die here? Even setting the game at easy, I swear it's the concept of just sailing on the oceans, collecting these things, and having sirens scratch at you is so terrible. This is one of the things The Witcher 3 did really awfully on, I think. Sirens clawing at your boat. And the fact that you can't even fight them on the water. Like, you can kind of stand up from steering your boat and maybe attack them a little bit, but they're flying around, and you have this very, very limited space to move around in. It's hard to fight them. Drowners are much more tolerable. You know, they don't crawl up on your boat and start, attacking you. But sirens, oh my god, they're so bad. So bad. And yeah, I still feel obligated to do some of these places of interest because we just gotta do it. It's not that I don't like doing stuff like this, because look at this. This is so atmospheric. It looks amazing. I just don't like the sirens. That's about it. Anything but the sirens. And the fact that, yeah, my boat doesn't control very well right now. It's kind of awful. But that's not a problem with The Witcher 3 in particular. That's a problem with the mod I'm using. Oh well. Everything else about Enhanced Edition is pretty good. But I gotta say, these boating controls that were introduced recently, I say recently, it's probably like a month or two ago, but at this point, yeah, not great. Alright. Let's see what's in this one. Hey, no, don't run away with it. Oh yeah, that's one other thing sirens love to do. They love to just like hang on to these chests. They're not hanging on, they're just like swimming in the water, and then it catches on them, I guess. But yeah, when they do that, they just drag the box with them, and it's a little annoying. Sometimes they drag it really far away, and you just can't get to them. That's the thing, apparently. Where's my boat? There it is. Probably about time that we get a new boat as well. This one, it's still pretty good on the port side, but the starboard is not looking very good. See, I know that port is left. Yeah, the right side over there, not looking so hot. If it gets attacked much more, it'll probably just sink, which I definitely don't want. Being stranded in the middle of the ocean without a boat, it's a pretty bad feeling. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna travel back here and switch my boat. You never know what these sirens are gonna do to it. Once they cling on, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're fast enough, you can kind of maybe stand up and slash at them so they'll get off. But with the way the boating controls right now, it takes like 10 seconds to just get off the boat. So by then, the siren would have already gotten to it. Okay, this is a nice fresh one. Whoever owned this one, sorry, but I'll be taking it. Alright. Let's see my items here. Can I check my items? Ah. another thing I don't love about this enhanced edition. It's very hard to bring up the potion and the consumables tab at the bottom there. With the controller, I think with the keyboard and mouse you could do it relatively effortlessly, but I don't know. So I was gonna put some, consumables there. Okay, let's move on. Next one over here. Oh my god, there's so many of them. We're definitely gonna have to spend an additional episode after this one to collect the rest of these. And I know the stuff I talk about is really boring. In fact, I've almost thought about just doing one of these episodes without commentary, but then I know for a fact no one is going to watch that, because what's the point of watching someone just like collecting items in Skellige? It's like the most boring thing you can do in The Witcher 3, really. So I thought I might provide some kind of light commentary to make things a bit more interesting. I just never really know what to talk about after I've exhausted the topic of what I planned at the beginning of the episode. You know, I can just talk about like random things, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Monster Hunter, I played this weird, like Korean or Japanese. I don't know if it's Korean or Japanese, but it was this other type of like Monster Hunter game. It's called Ragnarok. Some of you may have heard about it. Well, the game I played is called Ragnarok Odyssey, where it's very much like Monster Hunter. You create a character and you just like hunt different things. Now, unlike Monster Hunter, you're not hunting like huge monsters most of the time. Most of the time, you're just killing random smaller enemies, like kill 10 ogres, or, you know, kill 15 wolves, stuff like that. Kill 20 slimes. Yeah, and then once in a while there's a boss battle, and it's, yeah, I played that game for a while, and definitely not quite as good as Monster Hunter. Well, first of all, it was for the PlayStation Vita, which is a handheld system. Sony has unfortunately discontinued their support for the Vita, and I don't think any developer is crazy enough to still develop for that system. Even though I think it's a very, very solid handheld system. I think if it's not for just its roster of games, I would think it's better than any kind of Nintendo handheld system, like the DS, the 3DS, the 2DS. You know, they all play basically the same way. They just look different, right? And yeah, because the PlayStation Vita, it has everything. It has 2 analog sticks. It's got the shoulder buttons. Now, granted, the analog sticks are kind of stiff, and they wobble. I don't know, they just don't feel so good on your thumb. But still, they are analog sticks on a handheld, so, you know, can't really complain about that. And there's a relatively good list of games for the Vita. It's just there aren't a lot of choices to begin with. But I gotta say, one of the games for the Vita is probably worth purchasing a console by itself. Persona 4 Golden. It's such a good game. Oh my god. Maybe it's my bias of just liking the Persona games in general, but Persona 4 Golden, it's so good. You can play Persona 4 like the standard version. I believe it was for the PlayStation 2. But Golden just introduced so many interesting features. I never played the regular version. I've only played the Golden. And yeah, it's really worth playing. Plus it's on a handheld. Game plays nicely. The social aspect is pretty cool. The characters are interesting. It's so good. It's unfortunate that it's a Vita exclusive. If you don't have a Vita, you can't play it. You can probably with some kind of emulator, but I'm not going to condone that kind of stuff. So yeah, actually, I did finish Persona 4, but I didn't do everything I could do in that game. Like, I'm currently playing a New Game Plus. I've been playing this New Game Plus for like 2 years now. I just, once in a while, I'll turn on the Vita and I'll play it for a little bit, but I'm not like really committed to it. That's why, yeah. I finished the game probably in 2 or 3 weeks, and then I just put it down. Started the New Game Plus, and it's been 2 years since I started it. Still have yet to finish it. We'll probably finish it at some point, though. It is a very good game. I just hope that this new Persona 5 game called Persona 5 The Royal is going to be as expansive in its features as Persona 4 Golden was from the standard Persona 4. That would just make my day. Because Persona 5 is one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Yeah, which includes also The Witcher 3 and this guy at 5. It's my top 3. This place of interest is going to be on an island. I wonder if I'm going to have to fight anything significant. I'm too lazy to switch my difficulty back, so probably just going to kill these things very easily. I mean, we already know that drowners are pretty easy, so it won't matter that we're on easy difficulty. Oh, obviously I have to still take a couple of hits because I'm not really paying attention. Wow, took a lot of hits there. Damn. Okay. Is it just me, or are these drowners doing quite good damage to me, even on this easy mode? I mean, obviously, like, the sirens are definitely doing way less to me. You know, I can take a lot of siren hits, but these drowners, I only took, what, 3 or 4 hits? It took me down to half my health? I feel like that's how much I would be taking if I were playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't know. Okay, well, that's that. Let's get back to my boat. It's very difficult to park your boat or dock your boat at a place where you really want it to. Controls are just strange. Okay, let's move on to another one here. Yeah, let's go up here. Get these couple of points here. You know what I wish? I wish these places of interest, instead of being underwater with these smugglers' caches and these hidden treasures or whatever, instead of being underwater, they should have just been spread out across the mini islands in Skellige. That would have been a lot more interesting. You know, more places to explore because there are more islands. Islands are just more interesting in general compared to the water. And also, we don't have to deal with the sirens and drowners on the boat, which has been so much better. Okay, so I basically got the steering down though. Like whenever I can't steer, it's really weird because if you are either braking, or like trying to stop, or you are not accelerating in general, you can't steer the boat. Like you can kind of like do this, so left and right, but your boat won't actually go anywhere. It will just keep on going straight. You have to be accelerating in order to turn. Okay, that makes sense realistically, but from a gameplay perspective, that's no good. You know, like in vanilla Witcher 3, you can just turn your boat whenever you want, however you want, without accelerating. But this patch, with the enhanced edition, it made it so that you can only turn when you're accelerating. You can't turn while you're braking, and you can't turn while you're like, well, you can probably do it if you're just standing still and not doing anything else, but yeah, it's just weird. Oh, okay, so we got something here. Let's read this. Notes about treasure. I've had enough. My father and brother think I'm nothing. All they do is laugh at me. They're always laughing, saying my face is fair as maids, and I'm only fit for lying in bed with maids and certainly not for battling with men. And one day, one of those cuckolded husbands is going to break my neck. True, never had much, have had much problem securing ladies' affections, but that's not something I asked for. Marie wouldn't let me leave her bedchamber, so we dallied on till her husband, nor his, Ironsides and his mates came back with their lootings. I jumped into a wardrobe and stayed to listen, that it was uncomfortable as all get out. Though it was uncomfortable as all get out. What does that even mean? They said they sunk some great treasure ship by the rocks between Faro and Skellige, and that come morning they intended to go fish it out. Once they'd drunk themselves to sleep, I slipped out of the wardrobe and told Marie we had slit all their throats. Get that treasure. We should, get that treasure ourselves and leave these horrible isles. Go somewhere better, Kovir, or even Novigrad. Oh god, Novigrad is not a good place to go right now. Don't go to Novigrad. Marie didn't take long to convince because her husband was a true whoreson and beat her terribly. So Norris and his mates are bits in a fish's guts by now, and I'm off to find my fortune. Oh man. Who cares that I'm not too skilled a sailor and a storm's coming? I'll be done and gone before it hits. I think it's supposed to be a there's supposed to be an S in front of that hit there. Alright, well, iron-sized treasure. This guy didn't fare very well, and from the way that his corpse is now a skeleton, I would say this happened a very long time ago. So yeah, maybe Novigrad would have been pretty good at that point. Certainly isn't right now, though. Okay, let's see. Oh, there it is. Stay away from me, sirens. Oh, look at this. Gold diamond necklace. 52 crowns? Oh, so good. That's a lot of money right there. A lot of money. I can probably get 200 crowns out of all of that stuff. It's not fantastic. Okay. Get back to my boat. Oh my god, why is it so far away? Man. There should be a call boat option. You know how you can just whistle and Roach will come no matter where she is? Just magically teleport next to you? Yeah, I think when you're swimming on the ocean, you can just do that and then a sailor will just come by and bring you a boat. Maybe you have to give him a couple of crowns. But yeah, that would be so convenient. I mean, come on. I know it's not realistic, but it's not like a horse teleporting across the world to get next to you is very realistic either. We gotta break immersion at some point just to make the game a bit more, you know, gameplay friendly. Alright. Here's another one. With a bunch of sirens, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about that. Yeah, just tear away on my boat. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Yeah, it's because you can't jump while in combat in Vanilla Witcher 3, right? That was not a thing. But the Enhanced Edition, they made it so that if you hold the sprint button while jumping, while pressing the dodge button, you can actually jump in combat, which is really cool. But the thing is, the sprint button is also the get on boat button. So you try to jump on the boat to get out, you can just sit down and start trying to steer the boat instead. Which is no good. That's another thing that makes sirens so awful. Because when they're flying above you while you're in the boat, you're in combat with them. Whereas drowners, you know, they can be swimming under the water, you're just never in combat with them, you know. With sirens, yeah, it's, I can probably go on for an entire episode about how bad sirens are on the water. But you probably heard your fill. Okay. Oh god, they're like pushing my boat around too. Get out of here. Ugh. No. No, I don't want to die. Come on. Don't die, don't die. Open the menu. Okay. This one. Okay, let's try to not die here. Ooh. Okay. As long as they stop attacking me. Okay, this is fine. I won't be able to eat or drink anything because of this one thing just right next to me. It won't get off. Oh my god. Get off my boat. Oh man, there's more sirens over here. Damn it! What do I do here? Let's see. I would like to stop the boat first of all. If I can. Apparently not. Let's turn this thing around. No, okay. Wow. Okay, sure, that works. Now, can we ard this? There we go. Die! Ah, oh my god. Alright. I should probably save the game just in case something happens to me. How do I offer, like, constructive commentary in episodes like these? Oh my... Oh, seriously? Oh my, that boat is so far away. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, here we go. 3 chests. I don't think my adrenaline rush ability is working properly with these sirens. I'm supposed to be getting 10% attack power for every enemy. And there are clearly more than one siren here, you know? It could be every enemy after the first. But even still, there are at least 4 sirens around here. I should be getting at least 30%, but I only got 10% there. Weird. Underwater combat. Okay, first of all, there is no underwater combat. Second, just being in the water and being in combat in general is just a little weird. Man. I just noticed that it's already morning. It's 6:30 a.m. in the game right now. And it is still so dark. Wow. Blame the storm for that. Alright. Back to my boats. We'll probably just get a few more, and we'll just end things off. There will be another one of these episodes in the future. I don't know, maybe even 2 of them in the future. Because, well, we have all of these down here, the ones back here, and the ones in this little gulf. A couple of them up north? I don't know. It really depends on how fast I am with doing these. Like, how annoying the sirens get. Might be able to get it done within another episode or so. Okay, on the next episode, we're definitely going to be working on main quests. So our current objective is to obviously find Ciri on the Isle of Mists. That's going to be fun. And then after that, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, after that, the story really picks up. So far in this story, there hasn't been like too much going on. You know, we get a tip from Amir that it's possible that Ciri is in Velen, Novigrad, or Skellige, and then we search these 3 regions, we don't find her. Instead, we find Avalok, who tells us where Ciri is. I just summed up the entire, 120 somewhat episodes that we've done in this game, in terms of main story. After this, though, so many things happen. It's gonna be so good. All right, stop the boat. Maybe I have to double tap it. And no, it doesn't seem to be stopping any faster. Yeah, I tried to jump out there, couldn't. There we go. I don't remember how that was like in Vanilla Witcher 3. Like, if you wanted to get off a boat, did you actually have to kill those sirens? Because you can't jump. Oh, Jesus. Don't kill me, please. You know what? I'm going to have to go on land. I'll see if I can get on land over there. Because if I keep on diving, there's actually a chance that I might die. So I'm going to come over here, kill a couple of these sirens, and then we'll continue. Can't use Quen though. If I use Quen and I fall into the water, I'm dead. So that's something I want to avoid. Oh god. Oh, that was an accident. I didn't want to cast Quen there. Get rid of it. God, this is so bad. Please. Oh. Okay. Now. Yes. Die. God, please. Oh, I can't even art it. Okay, that works. Come on. Come on. Oh, God. I need to drink the swallow potion, I think. No! Oh, shoot, what was that? Why did I just get knocked back? No, I didn't want to use Quen. As some of you may know, the hotkey for casting Quen is block plus circle. So L2 plus circle. Circle is dodge, which means if you try to dodge while blocking, you will cast Quen instead. Now, I have learned from experience that dodging while blocking is a bad idea. Well, not a bad idea, but you just can't dodge. You cast Quen, right? But, I was kind of stressing out over all of these sirens. I forgot to release my block before I tried to dodge. Cast Quen, slipped off, and died. Yeah. Well, there you go. First death in this episode. I probably won't die again. It's nice that after you die and you spawn back onto your boat, the game actually repairs your boat. So, if you ever need to repair your boat in the middle of the ocean, all you have to do is not be in combat, and then just save and load. Your boat will be fully repaired. I remember I used to do that, like when I was collecting these places of interest in Skellige in another playthrough. This time, I'm not gonna bother with the sirens. In fact, this time it's only one siren. What the hell? There were like 5 of them. Ugh. Alright, let's do a few more here. Actually, let's just do this last one, and then we'll just end things off. I don't think many of you are going to get to this point of the video anyway. Okay. Get up. Oh, of course. Now that I'm back to my boat, a second siren comes along. That's just excellent. Come on, get on. There we go. So many awkward things with boating in general. Well, at least the poison doesn't actually do any damage to us. Just raises our toxicity, which I'm okay with. Oh my god, yeah, I just remembered. The Witcher Netflix series is going to come out very, very soon. In fact, by the time I publish this video, it would have already started airing. I can't wait. Oh my, I just can't wait. I want to see what kind of story they're going to be going with in this series. From what I've read, it's going to be mainly about what happened in the book called Blood of Elves. So that's really the very first Witcher book, if you exclude the short stories. So if it is going to be Blood of Elves, it won't be that interesting, because I don't think too many like cool events happen in that one. I think as far as like early on in the Witcher books, right, the most interesting events happen during the book called Time of Contempt. Now try not to spoil anything for anyone, but yeah, that's where kind of like there was a lot of Ciri character development. There was a lot of development and like the state of the war, the formation of the Lodge of Sorceresses. Although I think the formation happened in the next one, the Baptism of Fire. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been years since I read the books, so whatever the case, I want to see what they come up with. Ideally, I want the series to like actually continue to reach the end of the story with the books. I don't see it being too likely. Like, depending on how well it does with its first season. I don't know. Maybe it will do really well. Maybe it won't. It really depends on how interested people are with this series. It is very like Game of Thrones-ish, but with monsters. You know, big monsters like Scarlet Killers. I don't think the story will be quite as interesting, but you never know. It could surprise us. Alright, well, we're back. Back to a place safe from all these sirens. I think off screen I'm going to sell off a little bit of my loot. I might do a bit more crafting, and we'll just continue from there. And then we'll come back at some point to do another one of these sailing across the ocean thing. To be honest, I don't really enjoy this either. Like 99% of the reason is because of the sirens. If it weren't for the sirens, I could live with the awkward boat controls. You know, I can live with the drowners. I can live with the fact that we have to dive underwater to loot all of these things. I hate the sirens. I don't use the word hate a lot when it comes to a video game, but those sirens are just god awful. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna sell off some of my stuff, and the next episode we're gonna continue with the main quest. So that's gonna be fun. So thanks for watching this time, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Maybe we needed a spotter.